Welcome back to Okayama for round 14 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship here on BSR TV with me, Chris Cohen, joined in the commentary box by Matt Dalton. Welcome back, Matt. We have no Matt because I've left him on mute. Sorry about that, Matt.
Leave me sat here talking to myself like a fool.
Should do that more often, shouldn't I?
Yeah, not that I need much assistance, yeah.
Brilliant. About 5 minutes away from the next race, round 14, the second race of the evening from Okayama. First one has already proved interesting, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was a real belter of a race and a very interesting finish.
Well, the finish we saw, it was plain sailing for Andreas Katz, led pretty much from second place on the grid to the flag, and then Fag was second, reasonably comfortable second, but Wild took third place. I'm talking about Fag's comfortable second. He was comfortable second for most of the race, but Wild took third place when him and Chepelevsky got a little bit tangled towards the end of the race, didn't they?
Yeah, they tripped over each other, and it was between Richard Wild and Stellion was a real dogfight scrap towards the end of that. It'd be interesting to see if the independent stewards banhammer swings.
Well, I mean, we saw that incident, didn't we, between Fag and Wild seemed to dive down the inside, and there was contact there, and they both went off, and that let Chepelevsky through. And then towards the end, Fag and Chepelevsky, you feel maybe if they both agreed to just stay where they were, they could have prevented Richard Wild getting more points, but didn't happen like that. And here's the top of the table in the British Touring Car Championship after this is just coming into this meet, so this is before the race we've just had. Chepelevsky's out on top, 13 points clear of Katz. That gap's going to have been reduced by now because Katz got the win. Chepelevsky could only manage fourth place, and Simon Field finishing down in seventh, but still pretty good finish, but he will have lost some points there to fourth place man, Richard Wild.
Certainly seen worse finishes than that, I think.
And Dan Hunt is the major loser there because he failed to finish that particular race. And outside the points, Adam Terry will have made up more than enough points to overtake him in the championship. So unfortunate for Dan, that one. In the meantime, we have got we've got Ashley Sutton's actually on the chat for Twitch, which is brilliant. He does say it was an error. He did make a mistake, and he apologises to Simon Field for that collision. So it's nice of him to sort of fess up, and mistakes do happen. Be interesting to see what the stewards do say about that one, and we'll try and get word from them if possible. I'm not sure we have a direct
5 minutes in the naughty corner, you would expect.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there was another question from Laxon on Twitch to say, what license do you need to play in this championship, Matt?
You don't. It's open to anybody from rookie upwards. It's a hosted session in the league, so it's entirely free of licensing issues. Although obviously, if you are a complete rookie, it's worth joining for one of the practice sessions before you try and jump in the race.
Yeah, and just to explain that a little bit, there'll often be a number of practice sessions on the same track in the nights leading up to this session on a Thursday, just to give all the drivers a chance to kind of go around, set some fast lap times, and then hopefully just have a quick race at the end, just give people a bit of practice in their racecraft, etc. With the new rules, no crashing on the first lap, otherwise you get a grid penalty that could be quite significant. But really the first lap we only saw Sutton's incident, and then Sutton's incident with Malcolm rejoining the track. I don't think there were any significant other incidents, were there, that I can recall?
Not that I can recall, no.
So we're about 2 minutes away from round 14, and Katz will be on pole. Wild will be on second place on the grid. So a front row start from Richard Wild, and he's one of those, isn't he? He's very good if you just leave him alone on the track, and once he gets into some traffic, anything can happen.
He is Vettel-esque when racing the stopwatch, so he could do some real damage from P2.
And he'll be looking to improve his position in the championship. He's trying to chase down Simon Field, because Wild's in fourth at the moment, but he'll feel he's the better driver than Simon Field. But Field has massively improved over last season.
Yeah, well, you're not going to find a racing driver who will ever admit that he's not as good as somebody else. I suspect that we all have a little bit of a god complex in that respect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And at the end of it, raw pace isn't the only thing that's involved in the recipe, is it?
No, racecraft is a big part of it, and some of the guys who are perhaps not as fast make up for it in other ways. So it's by no means the be all or end all, but it does help.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we've seen some strong performances from Katz, but do you think that he can go from pole to flag this time round?
He's certainly got the pace to do it. I think the guys behind him are going to be more determined, and the way they let him get away at the start of that last race, I think, will have highlighted to them that they need to be on it, and perhaps they need to work together a little bit as well.
And Chepelevsky as well, starting for 4th place. It won't be his favourite place to start. He's used to starting in the clear air at the front, but
he is, but he's going to be. I wonder if we're going to get some afters from the end of that first race. I mean, they all seemed fairly happy on chat and fairly jovial, but you know, when the green light goes on, the red mist will descend, as you would suspect.
But there is that ever-present threat of the 9-incident limit, and also the grid penalty for any incidents caused on the first lap.
Yep, and it did catch Ashley Sutton out in the last race, although again, as we said, perhaps not entirely his fault.
It's always going to be difficult when there's that many cars in such a close proximity, and we've got 25 starters in this race, and right at the front, well, it'll be interesting. 25 cars make their way down to the grid in the various liveries of the real BTCC cars and the fictional ones as well. So that's the front two aren't on the grid yet. There he is, Andreas Katz on the outside, just makes his way onto the grid there. Richard Wilde on the inside of the front there. Row 2, the white car on the outside is Robert Fagg, and then Stelian Chepelevsky is on the inside as the lights go on. We've got a red, round 14 from Okayama, and the British Touring Car Championship is now underway.
Yeah, I'm actually going to keep an eye on Ashley Sutton here off the start at the back and see if he makes up any places or if it all goes Pete Tong. Oh.
Right, well, we've got a fairly good start from everybody at the front, keeping it nice and clean at the moment. Katz has got the lead there, and oh, Wilde's off. Wilde's gone off. What's happened to Richard Wilde? Oh, it's not good news for him, and Sutton's doing alright already from the start. He's done pretty well to get up there, and Chepelevsky's up to 3rd position. Where's Richard Wilde though? Is that him in the background? We just saw him just there, and he's down to 9th position, and everyone keeps it clean on the first lap. That's good news.
Yeah, it's 2 wides all the way down through the field here, so whether it'll stay that way into this corner. Oh, here we go.
Oh, we got contact. That's Stevens. Stevens is off. Oh, and there's huge contact. Stevens is into the barrier. That's 2. Is that 2 Bianco cars that are off as well? Oh, there's a side load of Yuasa cars off.
Somebody's on their roof.
Right, well, let's see if we can get a replay of what might have happened there, because that was a big impact, wasn't it? So Stevens down the outside now, and who's that up in front of him there? Is that Ander Diaz?
It's Ellis Stevens and...
Well, Stevens is on the back of Diaz. Yeah. But,
although that starts early. That starts earlier than that.
So Stevens is coming across the other side now, and is that... it's one of the Biancos. Oh, and it takes out the other Bianco. That's most unfortunate. Is that Terry and Bond as well? And Stevens is a passenger there. And,
oh dear. I think you, if you had to apportion blame there, I think Ellis is in the naughty corner.
Let's have another look here. As we come around the corner before the one with the incident here, and Field's just getting up alongside one of the Biancos there, and we'll just have a look as we come along the big long back straight here, and Stevens is on the outside. There's Diaz on the inside there. And
yeah, that's not Ellis's fault. What's happened is Ander Diaz has gone across the front of him and then just stood on the brakes, and Ellis is pretty much a passenger at that point.
Well, it's a very interesting incident, shall we say. I don't quite know what... well, I've never seen anything like that before. Why would Diaz be on the brakes there?
Honestly, I've no idea. That's a strange one. He's brake very, very early, and then, of course, the two of them, Ellis has nowhere to go. Although, to be fair, Ignacio, I don't think, had a cat in hell's chance of making the corner, because he's already probably having an accident all to himself, and he's absolutely splattered his teammate.
His field trying to get past Richard Wild, so Wilds manages to maintain the position at the moment, but this comes down to who's got the nerve, and we're saying Wild sometimes struggles when there's other cars around him, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. So Katz has the lead from Robert Fagg, and then Chepalevsky's in third position. This is a battle for fourth, as that blue and white machine is Richard Wild up in front of the yellow Simon Field. Field is sticking his nose out, but he knows better than to try that without a clear overtaking opportunity. Richard Wild's holding on to this fourth position well so far. Just kicking up the dust there. That's not going to cause any incidents. There's only 2 wheels off, so that's fine at the moment.
That'll be 1 point for him, and he's done that a couple of times.
But 2 wheels should be okay. It shouldn't be an incident for 2. It's probably all 4, isn't it?
No, it is 2. If you put 2 wheels off the racing line onto the grass, then you pick up an incident point.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, slightly different then to what I thought. And Chepalevsky's in second. How did Chepalevsky? So let's watch that on the replay then. Chepalevsky, who was in third place, is hounding the back of Robert Fagg there, and he's gone for it down the inside. The turn before the main straight, and it was a very easy, straightforward overtaking manoeuvre, and Fagg put up very little resistance there as well. So. Perhaps that was just as well. As we're coming up to a back marker now, Katz is in the lead after that big first corner incident, well, first lap incident I should say. There'll be a few back markers to overtake.
Yeah, it's the very lovely Stephen Hefford who's pulling himself over and out of the way, and that's good driving there.
Well,
good lad.
He's in the pits.
I think he's just using the pit lane to... No, he is going in yet.
Katz from Chepalevsky from Fagg, and in the background that's Richard Wild and Simon Field after 3 laps down. Was it just... It's 3 laps down now, so another 9 of these to go, and Chepalevsky and Katz up front. This will be an interesting fight.
There's the grid and the entire field is somewhat all over the place. Andreas Katz in first at the moment, Stellian chasing him down, Robert Fagg in third, Richard Wild in fourth, with Simon Field was all over the back of him. I can't quite see at the moment. Steve McGarrity up to 6th, that's pretty good. Benjamin Gregory in 7th, that's pretty good for him.
Definitely, and we're just looking now at Ander Diaz trying to make his way back up the field after that first lap collision there, and all of these cars we're looking at here have a lot of damage as he just slips past Steve Richardson, and Smolenski's going to try and slip through as well. Richardson's having none of that. Is he going to be able to get a better exit though? That's the question. Richardson and Smolenski are now side by side, and Smolenski's shown that he's got the pace, but Richardson's no pushover. In the foreground as well, Tariq Islam is just under threat here from, well, that's Scott Malcolm. Scott Malcolm's going to yield actually, and Diaz is going around the outside of them both. Smolenski's got Richardson in the background in the meantime, so Diaz is through. Islam's going to be under threat now from Diaz just behind him. Well, these two are much faster. Oh, Malcolm's off. Malcolm is off into the barrier, so let's see if we can get that one on the replay now.
Stellian has caught himself up to the back of Andreas Katz. He's
and that's Smolenski that's taking him out as well, so I wonder if the stewards might be getting involved in that one, and see if we can get a little bit of a better replay on that, because...
John Richardson is going to be regretting the day he ever volunteered for this. I suspect he's going to be there till midnight trying to sort this lot out.
I wonder if
it all started so well in race 1 and it's just gone completely downhill now.
Yeah, absolutely. so Smolenski's gone in a little bit hot into this next corner, and well, there's no question really that he wasn't far enough up the inside to make any kind of moves. So he's taken Scott Malcolm out, unfortunately, and Dan Hunt is a man on the move in the meantime. He is up to 7th position, which is much more like where he'd want to be. He's got Benjamin Gregory right behind him, as you say, and Peter Van Gool is behind him.
Yeah, Raz Al Ghul is all over the back of Dan there. He's having a good run today.
So the orange Dynojet machine of Peter Van Gool And then Benjamin Gregory is in that black car that's just in the front of your picture there, and Van Gool will want to be getting through as quickly as possible. Gregory's new to the series as well, isn't he? So perhaps not as much experience racing with these guys as all the others.
No, but he did run in the support race last night with the spec racer, so he's he was fairly feisty in that. So he's clearly a guy who likes his racing. Stellion, meanwhile, is all over the back of Andreas Katz. He's hounding him down from nowhere. Simon Field in the background as well, doing a bit of grass tracking. Fancies himself a motocrosser.
Well, Chepelewski with a much faster corner entry there and had to cut it short because Katz using his car as a shield there, and look how close they are, about a foot apart as they come through that high-speed left-hander, and Chepelewski's right on the back of Andreas Katz now, and he'll have his mirrors full of that Addison Lee racing machine. Down the inside, we've seen him do this once before. Katz has not given up. Katz having to take the longer way round though.
No, but he should carry more momentum around corner exit, so it's not over.
Down the back straight then, side by side. Looks
Robert
like
Fagg will be laughing like a maniac in third place there, because if these two can tangle up, it'll pull him right back up to him.
If there's two drivers that are unlikely to tangle, it's going to be these two, and Katz takes the wide line and hope that he can get on the inside of the next corner, and it pays off for him. He's done well to defend that. And Fagg now on the attack.
Yep, like I said, these two only need to tangle each other up a little bit, and that allows him right back onto him.
You say Fagg's on fire here. He could easily take the win if these two collide, as you say. And Chepelewski will not be given up this time. I can't see, because Katz is his main rival. These two are leading the championship and second respectively. Katz has already gained some points back, and wherever these two finish, Chepelewski will make sure it's ahead of Katz if he's got anything to say about it.
Yeah, this is the championship fight, isn't it? And Rob Fagg is going to be determined to try and hang on to the back of him. He's just got to hope he doesn't light his tyres up too much. And
a little backward slide from Katz there as he enters the first corner. Chepelewski making his intent clear. Meanwhile, Fields dropped off the back of Richard Wilde, so that is no longer a battle. Richard Wilde content driving in fourth place there.
Well, again, I mean, Simon and Richard are probably looking at this fight up front and thinking, that's quite nice for us. Oh, and Andreas has gone wide there and Stellion's gone past him, so...
Well, couldn't have been easier for Chepelewski, really, as he forces a mistake from Katz, which is one of the rarest things you'll see in this series, is a mistake from Andreas Katz.
Yeah, it's not very... We don't see Andreas make mistakes very often, so...
He'll want to get
that was
back
a bit of candy from a baby there.
You have to feel though that Fagg just doesn't have the pace to stay on the back of these two when they're both driving quick. It's when the overtaking happens that they slow each other up, and Fagg's right back in it.
Yeah, and Robert said himself that he struggles with the tyres a little bit late on in the race, so this is probably about his only chances to get through here. But you have to think the longer it goes on, the more it's going to suit the other guys around him.
Well, we're on board with Fagg now, looking at the back of Andreas Katz's eBay Motors car as we're just rounding out 7 laps here at Okayama. And Chepelewski's already started to pull away, isn't he?
Stellion not hanging about, setting off like a scalded cat. Rightly so as well. I mean, he's leading the championship. He's not going to want to be around these guys. He needs to get that room so he can drive his own race.
And it is a delight to watch guys driving at this level, because they are wheel to wheel for the entire track, no contact so far, and the amount of talent off. Oh, and just as I said that, I put the curse on Robert Fagg. It's a big sideways moment as he suddenly loses the amount of talent that I was talking about there, and keeps it under control though. He's done well there, but that's
good save, but that's put Richard Wilde all over the back of him.
Now pressure, big pressure from
and these two tangled at the end of the last race, and you would have to fancy there's a good chance of some afters, yeah?
And we'll come back to that battle in a moment, because a little bit further down the field there's a great battle going on. Eckhart von Glan is leading the train. Ander Diaz is down the inside now. Ander Diaz, and that was almost contact there, but Diaz just reins it in slightly, and aggressive driving style we've seen from Diaz so far, isn't it?
He's not backwards and going forwards, is he? If you leave him so much as half a chance. I think he's probably grown up watching Senna videos a little too much and taken some of those messages perhaps a little more literally than was originally intended.
Well, he was down the inside there, but to no avail, and that's Alexander Smolenski's just behind these guys, and Aaron Mullen is just behind in the black Addison Lee. But Von Glan is now going to get overtaken, I think, because the inside line has gone to Diaz. Von Glan's given him the squeeze, though, turning in a little bit early. And there's contact there, and, well, they could have given each other a little bit more room, perhaps, but I don't think that's Diaz's style.
No.
Von Glan's off, so Smolenski will go through here as well. Von Glan's just got to keep it in check, but he's not giving up. Oh, and he's side by side with Smolenski as they come into the final corner. Smolenski's having to take the wide line here. That's going to give Von Glan speed down the straight, but he doesn't get the exit that he needs, and Mullen now is in with a chance. Look at Mullen, the black Addison Lee on the inside there, all squeezed into the inside of the corner, and Von Glan's going to lose that one as well. Von Glan's all over the grass there.
And Diaz will be setting his sights into the back of Mr. Gregory, and I would not want to be Benjamin Gregory. I'll be honest, right now, I think it's a bit like being chased by a cheetah, I would suspect.
Well, after that first lap incident...
Oh, Robert Fagg's gone wild as well, which has allowed Richard Wild up next to him.
Well, we just cut to that battle now as Wild goes around the outside. Fag will have the inside on the next corner and the next one after that as well, but he's got to give Wild enough room on the exit. And Wild is keeping it in check for now. He's got through, so
good move.
Fag's had to withdraw. And that leaves Simon Field in a difficult position, doesn't it? Because his main rival in the championship is now 2 places ahead of him.
Yeah, and it's Fag needs to get a bit closer to the back of Richard Wild here, so he can take a nice long drag down the front straight.
And what are you saying about Gregory? He's now under extreme threat from Ander Diaz. Oh, and down the inside with no hesitation is Diaz, but he'll be on the outside for the next corner as Gregory holds on to it. Diaz has taken a very wide line there.
You chose the right words with extreme threat, didn't you? He's about to get the monster treatment, is Benjamin.
Just look at the state of that car. I don't think there's a straight panel on that Ander Diaz car. US racing machine.
Pit radio is screaming, get out there and hit the pace car.
And Gregory's moving over. Gregory's giving him the squeeze here.
Yeah, I think you're allowed to move once, but not necessarily keep going. But
Gregory's gone right back over the other side there, and he's given up the position. But it is
no, he's going to try and come back at him. That's not an overtaking spot. There's no lack of aggression back here.
And this is Smolenski joining the back of this pack now. So Alexander Smolenski is looking to get in on some of this action as well, and he's not slow.
Nope. As I said, Benjamin Gregory, bless him, has just gotten the monster treatment. Will Mr. Diaz decide that that's enough? I can't see him catching up to the back in 2 laps of Tim Mawson, so...
Well, Ander Diaz
he's going to be lethal from pole position, isn't he?
Oh, and a little bit of contact there, a little bit of rubbing around the corner. It's a bit dangerous from Smolenski, you've got to feel, and... wants to keep that in check as he's not going to find a way past Gregory by knocking him off the circuit. Mullen going a little bit wide in the background there.
A little bit of just to say he's there, just to say hello. A little bit of a rub. Ander Diaz, meanwhile, look at the state of that car. I will be amazed if he's not near that the dreaded incident limit.
Gregory then has to yield to Smolenski as well. So Smolenski up to 11th position now. Just having a look down the table at the other guys who Sutton we were talking about before has not really made a huge impact in this race. He's in 19th position and he's 9 seconds behind the guy in front, so it's going to be a 19th place finish probably for Sutton. Outside the points again, unfortunately for him.
No. Peter Van Gool having a great drive in P7.
Absolutely, we're just about to cut to Van Gool as well because he's under threat from Dan Hunt, who'll want that 7th place, but how well has Peter Van Gool driven in this race?
He's had a great drive, hasn't he? And he's just kept himself clean, kept it going, kept nice and steady, and he's picking up positions. And that's what we were saying earlier. The guys who are really fast are really fast, and that's great. But sometimes keeping your nose clean and just being sensible is a better option. You could wonder if Simon Field there in P5. I just wonder how hard he's pushing. He may be looking at race 2 and thinking that if he sits where he is, he can keep himself in front of these guys.
Well, Dan Hunt has a bit of work to do with 2 laps to go if he wants that other spot, if he wants that 7th place, because he's going to be made to work for it. we just go on board with Hunt now, and well, Van Gool's not close enough for Hunt to take the opportunity. And
no, it's just driving really well, Peter, at the minute. Richard Wilde is all over the back of Andreas Katz, mind you.
Let's have a quick.
In fact, they're side by side here, going into turn 1.
Trying to cut to that battle now.
Can't go around the outside there, can you? That's an audacious move.
Well, he's got the inside line
That's
for the next corner.
Move.
Yeah, he's forced Katz out wide, and he's taken the position on the outside of turn 1.
That's a great move. I don't know what...
Katz hasn't given up, though. He's got the inside line for the next corner. Turn just before the start-finish straight. And
is he going to go around the outside?
oh, there's a little bit of rubbing there, and well, they're still side by side. Racing. And Katz has not given up anything, and he's got the inside line for the next corner. But
and meanwhile, as we've said all night long, Simon Field and Robert Fagg, well, these two battle have cruised up onto the back of him.
Katz successfully defending that one, but costing him extra time there. And Chepelevsky, meanwhile, is 5 seconds ahead, so there's no question about him winning this race. Wilde's off. Wilde has gone wide there, and that's going to let Fagg through. And we saw this in reverse in the last race. And he's turned him round, and Wilde is off into the barriers. Well, Fagg's going to have a guilty look on his face after that.
You have to wonder a little bit if Richard was biting off more than he could chew, trying to go around the outside every time. It was nice the first time, but difficult the rest of it. And then Rob has, I think Rob has probably decided at that point he's going to have none of it for the rest of the race.
So Chepelevsky over the line. He will take the win.
Simon Field picks up
second,
P3.
and Field slips into third in all that carnage. Absolutely.
Yep.
What a result.
He will be laughing his head off.
So a dejected Richard Wilde then over the line for 5th place. Not the end of the world, but not the worst.
That's not too bad at all.
McGarity with an impressive 6th place. Look at that, Team DinoJet, his partner in DinoJet crime, if there's such a thing, comes home in 7th place. Dan Hunt over the line in 8th. Mawson
and Diaz
9th.
Gets the P10.
Well, Diaz has done it. I don't know how it is.
I can't wait to see what he's going to do from pole in race 3.
That car is held together by Blue Tack and Staples, I think, at this stage of the race.
Yep. They have picked up a new sponsor in Team Zip Tie, I suspect, for race 3.
Well, there's the results. And I wonder if we go back and look at that last lap incident there as well, because that's well worth seeing again. In fact, let's get rid of the results and see if we can just go back and have a look at that from Robert Fagg's point of view. Well, we're coming down they're coming down the back straight now, and Fagg is there in 4th position at the moment.
Yep.
And that's Richard Wilde just up in front of him there. And
well, I think
Wilde's gone off there, so Fagg does take the inside line. But the question is he squeezed out by Wilde? There's not a car width between. Well, Wilde's coming across, isn't he, to try and get round Katz, and you have to feel like there was nowhere for Fagg to go there.
No, Richard has probably just cut him off a little bit, not realised he was there, and Rob has tried to second guess what he was going to do, and they've just clumped together, and they seem to be having a reasonable chat about it there. I think Richard suggesting that he deserved the revenge for that from the first race. So.
Well, let's have a look from Robert Fagg's point of view here, and he's coming around this left-hander, and it's just his windscreen is just filled by that Welch Motorsport machine, so I'm not sure that there was a lot that he could have done about that. But back to the classification, after 12 laps in round 14 around Okayama, Stelian Chepelevsky takes the win. That's more like it. From the Chepster, Katz is second. Field somehow manages to get third, but you have to feel he deserves it by this stage. Fagg and Wilde again come together, and it costs them. Wilde
they have a mutual attraction, those two, don't they?
They're like moths to each other's flames. They really are. McGarity,
so romantic.
And DinoJet, not quite how it was intended. McGarity and Van Gool for DinoJet with a 6th and 7th, and Dan Hunt managing an 8th place. Mawson, that's better than the first race, in 9th, and the most aggressive driver of the evening award goes to Ander Diaz, who takes 10th place and the reverse grid pole So that is going to be an interesting start to the next
Also,
race.
also simultaneously manages to nail Mr. Teflon, and the gloss has come off for Ellis. I think a little bit. Bless him. He's copped some abuse in this series. I wonder if it's the fact that I'd chosen to sit out the remainder of the races. Maybe he's picked up my luck. I don't know if he's been handed my racing number or something.
Well, we're going to try and get some word from the stewards, because I'd be interested to hear what their ruling is on that one. That did affect 4 people's races.
I bet I know which word they're going to use.
Racing incident?
That's 2 words.
Oh yeah, never mind. 11th place down with Smolensky, Mullen, Gregory holds on for 13th, Von Glan 14th, in another impressive point score for the Dynojet team. 15th goes to Richardson, who takes the final point. Recovering Terry and recovering Stevens, 16th and 17th. Laura Bond can only manage 18th this time out. McCarran 19th, and Hefford finishes in 20th place. So that's another 12 laps from Okayama, and we've got one more of these races to come tonight as well. I'm wondering if we can get a quick word with man of the moment, Peter Van Gool. Peter, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, mate.
Peter Van Gool for Dynojet. What an impressive finish. You must be delighted with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty delighted. It's very good first and second race from you now.
And Dynojet finishing very strongly in that race, because your teammate Stephen McGarity was just in front of you in that race, so a double whammy of delight for you.
Yeah, it was really good fun. I had some good racing with Dan Hunt and with Ignacio in the first race, and been away for a couple of weeks, but it's good to be back.
And what about the new rules? How do you feel that people are adjusting to those, and have you managed to stay out of trouble and away from the incident limit?
Yeah, I'm at about 3 times incidents, so and I do really like the new rules because people are a bit more careful out there.
Are they?
Well, we saw a nasty crash on the back straight on the first lap of that last race, but where were you while that was happening?
I was just lucky enough to get through, because I was in about 12th position, and like 4 or 5 cars went off straight in front of me, and just managed to get through.
And what's your approach to this now? Are you more cautious as a result of the rule changes?
Well, I haven't been getting much incidents in the other races, so I'm just driving about at my own pace.
And your 7th place finish is going to give you the 4th place in the reverse grid, so what do you think that you can do in the last race?
Well, if I manage to get through the crashes, a top 10 should be doable, but I'm still lacking a clutch pedal, so it's kind of hard out there.
Well, I wish you the best of luck for the final race. Thanks for joining us, Peter.
Thank you.
That's Peter Van Gool for Dynojet there, and
Yep. I just watching the replay of that first lap incident, and he really wasn't kidding when he says he got lucky. He missed the back of Nick McCarran by about the width of a Rizzler paper.
Nick McCarran was caught up in that as well, I assume, or?
Yep. There was havoc in front of him, and Peter's just driven straight through the middle of it with cars going left and right of him.
Well,
I've got to say from that incident as well that the Muppet of the moment for the day has to be Ignacio Pinella, because he's gone into the corner and he's not actually hit the brakes until well past the 50-yard mark, and even though the others in front of him were having an accident, I think whether they did or not, he was going to have one, and he is absolutely mullered Adam Terry.
And what you're saying is, well, if the guys in front of me are having an accident, I might as well have one as well.
I'm going to make it a bigger one, yeah. Impressive. Adam Terry absolutely cleaned out. He literally gets killed.
It's definitely difficult to know what's going through these guys' heads as they go around. Unfortunately, we can't bring you a replay of that one. We can't bring that one back up on the tape, but do feel free to go back and watch it on the YouTube replays, because we did have a few replays of that during the session. That's another 12 laps around Okayama, and the final 12 laps with the reverse grid pole is coming your way in just a few minutes here on BSR TV. So from me and Matt, thanks for watching, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in no time.